What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to probably the shortest ranking list that I have on my channel. We're ranking all of the Warriors Abyss bosses from weakest to strongest, and we're going to talk about some of their attacks and stuff like that, things to watch out for, and why they are the easiest or the strongest to go against. If you guys are enjoying this content, definitely appreciate you guys dropping a like or a sub. Let me know down below which boss you struggle with the most. And with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Starting off at the bottom for me, this is number 7, I believe, because there's only 7. We have the goofy goober Guma himself. Guma for me is the weakest one out of all the bosses because he is by far the easiest boss to face. Some of the earlier bosses might not be as tanky as him, but Guma, when it comes to his attack patterns and abilities, it's so easy to dodge. He is the easiest. The regular version of Guma is the easiest one to fight. He's so big. There's only a couple moves I think he does that allows the vulnerability to do the extra damage to his shield. You have the straight line one, and I think some like one where he goes into the ground and pops up a little bit. Other than that, he has pretty simple ones, shoots in cones or lines, and you just kind of get out the way and then do damage, and he's so big that it's very easy to hit him. Guma 100% is the easiest boss, in my opinion. Even at the highest of transversals, I feel like Guma is the easiest one. He's the one you can take your time with and just really just play with him. Moving on to the next one, we have the flying skeletal Griffith boss himself, Magadori. I think Magadori is the easiest boss before like the main boss. He seems to be the weakest in terms of doing damage to him. He doesn't seem to be as tanky. Some of his moves get a little tricky. You have the one where he spins, and every time he spins he comes up and then he does like the little explosion of circles around you. You're going to want to close in. Even when you close in though, there always seems to be a circle right where you're at, so you got to be very careful. Make sure you watch out for that. Do your damage to him while he's vulnerable. His line attacks are easy to dodge. He has a couple of like wind ones where he shoots out the thing out of his mouth and stuff. That one's easy. He doesn't get vulnerable from it, but you can do damage while he's doing that. And then he has the one where he jumps up in the air and slams down on you a couple times. They're very easy to dodge. You don't even need to use your evasion for it, because if your character is fast enough, you can run out of the circle before he lands and then evade into him and do damage while he's vulnerable before he becomes invulnerable. Magadori is among the easiest to read, and he's not that tanky, and that's why he's here towards like the bottom. Right after him, we have the first boss, which is Shira. I feel like he's just a little bit more deadly. He has more attacks that are more dangerous than Magadori. I think his AoE, the one where he slams on the ground and those spikes come out, I think he does it like 3 times. Sometimes he'll do that when you're attacking and he'll catch you off guard, or the ones where he doesn't do it often, but he throws these orbs right at you, just turns and throw orbs at you. Sometimes you just don't expect it, and he ends up getting me from time to time. And he's a little tanky. I would say he's a little bit more tanky than Magadori is. He is a bit more vulnerable in the terms of the way he's animated. Like, he's the only one that has like a delay of getting up. Like, he does like an attack and then he's still falling, so you have time to do extra damage to his shield and, you know, try to get him down. Shira, I think, is a much more difficult boss just because some of his attack patterns are a little bit more complex versus Guma and Magadori. Next up, I mean, the rest of the bosses are just, these are just the ones that are just annoying, and they're towards the top because they are the end level bosses. Tomah is coming up next for me. It should be pretty self-explanatory. This dude is annoying at times. The teleporting thing that he does, where he does the balls and then they separate and you can't destroy them, you can only dodge them. Very, very annoying, but eventually you get used to his pattern. He does the first 2, and then the third one he does it kind of right next to you, so you just gotta dodge it, go around, and you can hit him while he's vulnerable. He has the giant ball one where you don't see where he's attacking until he's charged up fully, and then you have to evade away, get around the little tornado thing that's happening, hit him while he's vulnerable if you can, and continue to attack him. He's just a bit faster. He kind of attacks in spurts, which makes him a little bit more dangerous. He has the little semicircle one where it's a delayed attack, so if you evade right away and you're still in the circle, you get hit anyway. So Tomah is a tricky boss. Sometimes he gets a little weird with some of his attack patterns, and that's why he's here right in the middle, because I would assume most of you would agree that Tomah can get pretty annoying. Then coming at number 3 for me, might be a shock for some of you guys, but I have the true form of Guma. I went against him on Transversal 5, and he didn't have any new moves. The other 2 I want to talk about after him had new moves, and they felt different. I don't know what was going on, but they felt very different from how they usually are. The true form of Guma just was a tank. He was an absolute tank. I had to go through like 5 to 6 damage phases to kill him, and I just had to be patient with it. That's really all it came down to with me against the final form. He just isn't that strong. He has a couple of really annoying attacks. He has the little laser one where it goes in circles. You have to get out of the radius. There's no way you're going to be able to dodge it. Or if you're close enough to him, you can run. If you're fast enough, you can run right next to it and then keep yourself from getting hit from the lasers. You have the other one where it's a similar attack pattern, but instead of the lasers that are rotating around, it's just a bunch of spikes, and then that circle ring comes out. So you have to get away from him and then evade into it so you can get to him and do some damage while he's vulnerable. You have the one where he pops out the ground. You have the enhanced version of the Tomah one. He shoots out the circles towards you, and wherever you go, those circles follow you, and they come up pretty fast. So instead of it being next to him, he goes right after you and it follows you around. Make sure you have your evasion ready. He has a bunch of close quarter ones where you're next to him and he covers kind of the entire diameter and radius around him, so you have to get away, make sure the spikes come out, then go back in, do some damage. Guma is just a very tanky boss. I think he's easy to read. He has the line one where he does the 3 in a row. He does like the little fist thing. You just wait for him to do the third one, do some damage. I feel like Guma is just a tanky boss, but is easier to read than the other two, because the two that I'm about to talk about, and maybe you guys will say I'm wrong, but some of them are so fast and unpredictable, it leads to you taking damage, and it's a mess. Anyway, let's go and talk about number 2, which is going to be, and then you're going to obviously know what number 1 is. Number 2 for me is the Tatakatu Honda demon version of him. So the veteran warrior, which is Tatakatu Honda, for me is the second worst. And then of course you guys know who number 1 is, but talking about Tatakatu first, he just feels different on transversal level 5, and they should be stronger. He's faster. His AoE seems to be much bigger, like his attacks, and you have to be on your toes with him, man. You kind of have to, for a lot of his attacks, you kind of have to dodge towards him or to the side. If you dodge away from him, he usually ends up getting you, or you can't do enough significant damage, and it's just going to take a long time. When he does a little slashing things where they're like slowly approaching towards you, as soon as I see the first wave, I evade towards him so I can get the vulnerable damage on him. All of his wide sweeping attacks that he does, I try to go to the side of him and then wait for him to glow yellow so I can do the damage to him. And then I just keep a lookout for those quick slam downs that he has during some of his attacks. I'm trying to think of all the attacks that he has, but they're all very similar. They're wide sweeping, or he does like a little like lunge forward, some circle blast. He has the one where the tornadoes come out. He stands in the middle and the tornadoes come out, so you gotta evade towards him. He doesn't get vulnerable, but you can evade towards him, do the damage. I think he has one where he activates his Muso, where it does like an earthquake fissure damage. You have to get out of the radius. I think it happened a couple of times. Maybe I was just thinking of something else, but it felt like he did that a couple times as well. Tatakatu Honda, demon version, veteran warrior dude. He is a monster, especially when you have to face him right after fighting the bloodthirsty warrior demon himself, Lubu. This dude, my first 2 T5 runs when I got to him, I got absolutely murdered by him because I wasn't ready for how fast he was. He chokeslammed me like 5 times because I was thinking that I should fight him up close and do damage and, try to do that close. You don't want to do that with Lubu. With Lubu, you want to stay away from him. I try to stay away from him as much as possible because, or at least if I attack him, I try to go to the side because I don't want to be in front of him because he's so fast. It feels like you can't evade. It feels like you cannot evade. The only good thing or like weakness, I guess I would say about him, besides the normal vulnerabilities that he gets with his attacks, is when he jumps in the air. When he jumps in the air, you have a moment to recuperate. You can kill peons. You can really like stay out of the radius of his slam down, and then you rush in, do some damage to him, rush out, do as much as you can. Like that is a vulnerability to him because it's not a great move, very easy to avoid. But everything else is tough. He's Muso during, I think, at some point when his health is too low, will actually increase in radius size. Bruh. So it'll get like, it's like narrow at first. There's like a second wave of it where it gets bigger, and it's like, he activates it so fast. He also has the quick slam down. He feels similarly to his Origins version where he turns around very fast and hits you. And obviously there's no blocking mechanic, there's no parrying in this, so you have to evade. You got to have the reflexes of a cat to survive Lubu. The choke slam is activated very quickly. There's another version of his Muso where he swings forward a couple times and then he slams down in front of him, and then there's a bunch of circles that come up. So obviously get out of the way when he's coming towards you, let him do his thing, and then rush in. You got to time it. Rush in, do damage while he's vulnerable, and then rush back out. Lubu, for me, him and Tatakatu back to back is the toughest challenge. I think they have the toughest patterns to predict. I mean, obviously you do it multiple times, you get used to it, but they're just very, very fast. You have to be on your toes with them. And I'm not saying you don't have to be on your toes with Guma either, but he just feels much more tanky. He's just much more easier to read. He's a big guy. it's a big boss, right? But these guys are a little smaller and they're much faster. They seem much faster with their attacks, and they just absolutely obliterate you. I mean, I died so many times to the Lubu version because I was like, what is happening? I think I died to Tatakatu once because I got past Lubu. I used my extra life against him. I was down to like red health. I didn't have the 8 gate gold formations. I couldn't heal with my assemble. And he ended up killing me, I think, once. But I'm sure they're going to kill me more during more Transversal 5 runs that I do. But yeah, that's my list. That's my rankings from weakest to strongest, worst to best, I guess. I guess it's a worst to best list. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I have for the video here, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down below, which boss do you struggle with the most? Because for me, I feel like it is Lubu, man. No matter what game it is, it's always freaking Lubu. Appreciate a like and a sub before you go. And I will see you all in the next one.